outside of our body. When we sleep, all the organs start relaxing, our heart rate drops, blood pressure drops, so does our, what else drops? Temperature, okay? And at the same time, other organs in our body also start relaxing. Our immunity is much higher when we sleep better. Now, this was demonstrated during COVID. All of you who got vaccines during COVID, there was a study done. The antibodies in our body take around 2 weeks to be at their maximum potential. All those who had a compromised sleep for even one night after getting those vaccines, among 2 weeks when the antibodies are produced, they had 50% fewer antibodies. So that's the importance of our sleep. There is also lower risk of cancer among those who sleep well. Our metabolism is much better. Our fat cells are much better at utilizing energy. We are eating much better when we sleep well. On an average, a person eats 500 fewer calories if they are well rested the next day. We are way more active. All of these are helpful. Incidences of anxiety and depression are much fewer. Now, this is especially important because among teenagers, I have a teenager at home. If you have any in your family, you want to make sure that they are well rested because suicide is the top 3 cause of deaths among teenagers. And lack of sleep is rampant among teenagers. So we want to make sure they get adequate sleep, as well as we do get it too. Brain, what's happening within our brain? Now, if we look at an average person, requires between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Let's, for the ease of calculation, we are going to consider that as 8 hours of sleep. What's happening in our brain? First of all, in the first 4 hours of our sleep, that's not in our brain, in our body, we are actually repairing all the wear and tear. If you're exercising, all the wear and tear takes place in the night. All the cell rejuvenation takes place in the night. So our body is going through a lot of repair work. Among kids, it's a growth phase. That's when the sleep is essential. But in the second half of the sleep, our brain is really active. So while all the other organs are resting, our brain is actually pretty active. What we are doing in that time is 2 things. Our brain is 2 to 3% of our body weight, but it consumes 20 to 30% of all our calories. As a result of using of those calories, there are byproducts that accumulate. During those second half of our sleep, we are actually cleaning out the byproducts. When we don't do that, there are products like amyloid, tau protein, and beta amyloid that accumulate that are associated with Alzheimer's as we grow older. So we want to make sure, and we talk about late night parties, we talk about catching up on a movie. What we are doing is really compromising on that second half of our sleep. So there's cleaning up of toxins as well as there is filing of information. Our brain is really active, taking information from the day, filing it to what we need to keep, and getting rid of what we don't need to remember. So again, associated with Alzheimer's and memory-related issues with aging. So we want to make sure we get our 7 to 9 hours of sleep. The best way to find out that is on a weekend when you have nothing going on. Go to bed at your regular time. See when you naturally wake up the next day to know how many hours your body needs. Okay. I hope you all are awake by now. All right. Another thing that comes up is attention. Drowsy driving accounts for 1 of the 5 accidents that take place on the road. This is especially important because we need to make decisions in a split second. So any activity where you need to make decisions in a split second, you want to make sure that you are well rested to be able to be on the top of your toes. All right. Moving on to cell cycles, as sleep cycle, as well as sleep stages. Now, how many stages do we have in our sleep? Anybody? 3, 4. if we count our awakeness as one of these stages, okay? The second stage is when our body is actually slowing down, but we are still aware of our surroundings. For example, you know exactly when somebody opens the door, somebody walks by, a faucet is on. That's when we are in sleep stage 2. The third stage is the deep sleep, also called the non-REM sleep or delta sleep. As well as the fourth stage is the REM or rapid eye movements. When we are woken up in the deep or the REM sleep, we are likely to feel more tired, groggy, irritable when we wake up at those times. And this information is useful. I'm going to get to it again in a bit. But those pieces, we can easily wake up in the first 2 stages of sleep. Okay. Our sleep is not linear. We don't move from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. We spend almost 50% of our time in stage 2 of our sleep. So we might go into 1, move to 2, move back to 3, then move back to 2, 4, 2. We almost spend almost 50% of our time in stage 2. Okay? Sleep cycles. Now, going through all of these 4 stages of sleep is one cycle. Typically, we go through 5 to 6 of those cycles in a night. Now, you might have seen infants. They wake up, their eyes are open, and then we go back to sleep. Have you seen that? Mm-hmm. That's because there is that break there's a slight awakeness between moving from one cycle to another. As we age, our awareness of that break just increases. That is why we often hear things like, I woke up in the night and couldn't fall asleep back. That is because of our greater awareness of that wakefulness. Okay. Any questions on sleep cycles or stages so far? Okay. So what strategies do we want to use to make sure we get good night's sleep? As I started off, we need a transition time. 1 to 2 hours before bedtime, we want to make sure we are taking it slow. Doing something such as that is not screen related. Listening to a podcast, to music, reading a book, folding your laundry, whatever it is, but that is not screen related. And the reason being, how many of you take melatonin for sleep? Our body can naturally produce melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that is induced by darkness, and that helps us fall asleep. In presence of screens or light, this production of melatonin is compromised. That is why we need some. Ideally, if we can try avoid screens, our bodies might just produce melatonin naturally, and we might not need it. So having that transition time, non-screen time, shower, hot water bath helps us with sleeping. Our body temperature naturally drops when we sleep. Taking a shower, hot water shower, when you come out, the temperature is going to drop to meet the environmental temperature. That kind of mimics our brain into falling asleep. So if you have a hard time falling asleep, try that. What about waking up in the night? You want to do breathing exercises? I forgot to mention stretches. Yes, stretches before bedtime is also a great option, and you can practice them, or meditation. But breathing exercises that Anita will show us will really help us in the middle of the night to fall back asleep. There is a technique called ABC technique that I have come up with. You don't go looking for it on internet, you will not find it. But this is a technique shared with me by one of my clients, and actually it's worked for me and a lot of my clients that I shared with. You start with A, think about something not as simple as an apple, but something harder, astronaut maybe. B, think of bulldozer. C, maybe Chipotle. Whatever comes to your mind, and keep thinking about things with each of the alphabet until you get to Z. And still, if you're not asleep, then start with maybe this time I'll try city names or restaurant names or whatever comes to your mind. What this does is takes your mind off whatever is bothering you or stressing you out, and at the same time makes your mind work harder. That naturally makes it tired and helps you fall asleep. It works wonders, so try it. After 20 minutes of trying these breathing exercises and other techniques, if you're not able to fall asleep, get out of the bed. Try and do something non-screen related again, a puzzle, a crossword, folding your laundry, reading a book, whatever works for you. But that will train your mind to not get up as frequently. Once you feel a bit drowsy, go back to bed. If you haven't slept well at all in the night and you need a boost of energy, now I'm holding on to my brake pads a bit here because we can do that during daytime. We want to take a nap. The two kinds of naps that you take. First one is a power nap. If you're really crunched on time, 20 minutes. Time it on your alarm, 20 minutes. Why? Because in that time, we are just in the first or the second stage of sleep. It's easier to wake up. If you go into deeper sleep, you're likely to wake up feeling more tired. If you have the luxury of time and if you really not slept well the previous night, try for a 90-minute nap. That allows you to go through the whole sleep cycle and that lets you wake up feeling much more rested. All right. I think I need to really hold on and we'll give